sports media, the news media has come out and they just want to attack everyone for everything. If they could take a step back and realize maybe why he said what he said was so that he didn't have to do what he's doing now. But now people are attacking him for the stance that he took. So he has to explain himself somehow. What are you going to do? Sit there and take it? No, he's going to explain himself the best way that he could for the decisions he made. And like you said, nobody's come out and publicly on the team or the organization. I think he's had to be doing somewhat of a good job for the choices he made as far as following whatever protocols he should have. Nobody's out here bashing him. So I think they should back off. And the reason, the way they do all these things really has been why alternative sports media has come into play, because no one wants to hear these politically based talking head stories anymore. We just want to hear about sports. We want to hear about fantasy football. We want to hear about gambling. We don't want to hear why LeBron James is connected to China and the NBA and that he thinks aliens aren't real. I don't know. I just made that last part up. I don't want people to go out and accuse LeBron James of not
obviously
believing
LeBron
aliens.
thinks aliens are real. I saw Space Jam 2. So
that is very true. Very true. But shows like the Pat McAfee show, shows like Barstool Sports, pardon my take, some of the most popular sports media shows out there now, and I think they're getting such wide reach. They can get any guest they want nowadays because these players probably enjoy coming onto a platform that just wants to talk about sports. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, so I think that's a big part. Obviously, the fact it's actually a sports-focused enterprise, Barstool, Pat McAfee, there's a few others as well. But I think there's another side, too, is at these big media companies, like ESPN's a big one, where they have all these announcers and they have all these talking heads, and they call it, what do they call it in the industry? They call it talent, right? This is our talent. We got to have our talent. We got to have our guys in the sports talk shows and our ESPN anchors. That's our talent. That's who we have to pay. That's what really keeps the organization together. We have to pay those guys. And that doesn't make any sense because the talent in sports is the freaking athletes, right? Those are the guys that make the stories. Those are the guys that makes the plays. Those are the guys we tune in to watch and see. It's not, the talent isn't the anchor. It's not the interviewee. And I think the guys that, you brought up, NBC, CBS, ESPN, all of those big guys, is they think it's about them.
Their takes versus the athletes.
Exactly. They want to bash Rodgers because they think in their kind of like twisted mind that sports is about them. It's not about them. You don't play sports. You're talking about someone else, playing the game. It's not about you. And they focus that it's all about them, and they try and attack and prod, and they don't give athletes a fair shake all the time, and they're trying to look for whatever dirt they can scrub up to float whatever agenda, enforce whatever agenda they have that day. And all these athletes eventually just say, the heck with it. I'm just going to go on Pat McAfee, where I know they're going to be funny. I know they're going to be engaging. It's not going to be too serious, but it's going to be a little serious enough. And let me speak my mind. They're not going to attack me. Or I'm going to go on Barstool, or I'm going to go on any of these other alternative media sites, alternative sports media sites, and just have more of a forum that's more relaxed, and I can actually talk and show myself instead of having to just, give 30 seconds of interviews followed by 10 minutes of being attacked to force whatever agenda. It's really interesting that the fact that whether it's McAfee, who's a former player, or guys like at Barstool, who are definitely not former players for the most part, the fact that I think a big part of their success is that they understand that it's not about them. It's about the athletes. I mean, and you see it with McAfee in his interviews with Rodgers, right? It's very, they're very pumped to have Rodgers on. They all go wild. It's a big thing. They're excited. They pump him up. They promote him all the time. And it's not because they're homers, but it's because they're fans. And that's what we are. That's what you and I are. That's what Barstool is. That's what the McAfee group is. We're fans of these guys. We can talk about them. We can be critical of their performance on the field if it's not up to a certain standard, but we're still fans because we know it's about them. ESPN and the big guys, they think it's about the anchors and the talking heads. And I think that's why no one likes them. I think that's why the athletes are turning away.